Okay, so you sent us some really concerning material this week. Reports about youth violence in India. It's quite jarring.
Yeah, deeply unsettling. It definitely feels like something you need to unpack, go beyond just, the basic news reports.
Absolutely, because just reading the headlines,
Yeah,
it doesn't quite capture the gravity, does it? We need to understand what's really going on.
exactly. And you highlighted two key incidents. The first one in Roorkee, Uttarakhand. That was Wednesday evening, April 16th, 2025.
Right, in Mahalasat and then the Ramnagar industrial area, involving a kidnapping and assault linked to social media, bizarrely enough.
Czar is the word. And then almost immediately after, the next night, April 17th, in Kanpur, Uttar Pradesh, a stabbing.
Yeah, under the Maharajpur police station area, stemming from, well, a refusal to chant a religious slogan. Chillin' stuff.
It really is. So our goal here isn't just to recount the events, right? It's to dig into the why. What factors are driving this? What does it tell us?
Precisely. Let's start with Roorkee, this first incident. Ritan Chauhan, a student just on his way to tuition, maybe 4 p.m.?
Yeah, it seems like a normal afternoon heading to tuition in Mahalasot. But then things took a really dark turn.
He was intercepted by other kids.
That's right. According to the complaint filed by his father, Munit Rajput, around a dozen other minors on scooters, they're calling them the scooter squad, apparently intercepted him.
A dozen. On scooters. Like some kind of gang.
It sounds like it, yeah. They apparently took him from there to a more isolated spot within the Ramnagar industrial area.
Okay, so they moved him somewhere secluded, and then the assault happened.
Yes. The reports say he was beaten pretty badly with belts and sticks.
Belts and sticks. Wow. But there was something else, something really, really strange about this attack, wasn't there?
There was, and this is the part that feels particularly symptomatic of our current times. The assault was filmed.
Filmed?
Yeah.
Why on earth would they film it?
Well, the alleged reason is stunningly grim. They apparently wanted to make the video go viral on social media. Instagram was specifically mentioned.
You're kidding. They assaulted someone to get likes, to boost their social media clout.
That's what the information suggests.
Yeah.
This desire for online notoriety, for, clout, seems to have been the driving force behind the violence. Well, it's hard to process.
It really is. Violence is content creation. That's a whole other level of messed up. Did the police get this video?
Yes, reports indicate the police recovered the video. It's obviously become a key piece of evidence in their investigation.
I bet. And something about his phone being smashed, too.
Right. They also apparently smashed Ritten's mobile phone. You can read that as trying to stop him calling for help immediately, or maybe preventing him from sharing his side, controlling the narrative.
Yeah, silencing the victim. And wasn't there something about a crowd gathering? People saw this happening?
That's another disturbing detail mentioned, that a crowd gathered while the attack was in progress, but it seems the assault just continued anyway.
That raises so many questions about, community responsibility, the bystander effect. Just awful.
It really does. The police response, though, seemed to have been prompt once the complaint was lodged by Ritten's father at the Gangnahar station.
Okay, good.
Yeah, SHO Amarjit Singh confirmed a case was registered against 3 identified minors and 9 who are still unidentified.
Under serious charges, I assume? Kidnapping, assault?
Exactly. Relevant IPC sections for kidnapping, assault, causing grievous hurt. The SHO stated they're taking it very seriously, using the video, any available CCTV, witness statements, the works.
Well, that's something. But this social media connection, it just hangs there, doesn't it? It makes you think about the kind of pressure kids are under online.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
You mentioned that 2024 study, right?
Yeah.
From the Indian Council of Social Science Research.
Yeah, the one showing, what was it, 68% feel pressure about their online image.
Right, and nearly a quarter, 23%, admitted to doing risky things for online validation. When you see stats like that, this Roorkee incident, while extreme, maybe doesn't feel quite so out of the blue.
It feels like a horrifying endpoint of that pressure, almost, where the line between online status and real-world harm just evaporates.
Precisely. A complete distortion of values fueled by the metrics of likes and shares. It's deeply concerning.
Okay, let's shift gears then to the incident in Kanpur. This one feels different, but equally disturbing. A 13-year-old Muslim boy.
Yes, the night of April 17th, allegedly stabbed because he refused to chant Jai Shri Ram. We're not using his name, obviously, for privacy.
Of course. So what do we know about how this unfolded, based on his complaint?
It seems quite direct. He was confronted by another minor, someone from the same area. This other kid demanded he chant the slogan.
Just demanded it, out of nowhere.
Apparently so. And not just chant it, but also bow down. When the boy refused, that's when the violence occurred.
He was stabbed for refusing.
Stabbed in the left leg, according to the report.
Yeah.
The Maharashtra police registered an FIR covering assault and causing hurt with a dangerous weapon under the IPC.
Okay. And the investigation there is ongoing, too.
Yes. Standard procedure. Questioning potential witnesses, gathering medical evidence. We know the boy was treated in hospital and, thankfully, is reported to be stable.
That's a relief, at least.
Yeah.
But again, like Rookie, the act itself seems to point to something bigger. This isn't just a random fight between kids.
Not at all. This feels like a reflection of much deeper societal issues, underlying communal tensions, perhaps. The fact that a child would make such a demand and then resort to violence over it.
It suggests these divisive ideas are filtering down to the youngest levels.
Exactly. It suggests exposure, maybe even indoctrination. The police are looking into whether the accused minor acted alone or if others influenced him, which is a critical question here.
Yeah, understanding the source of that ideology is key. So we have these two incidents: Rookie violence for social media fame, Kanpur violence over religious chanting, seemingly different worlds.
On the surface, yes.
But are there common threads? What could be driving this kind of behavior in young people across different contexts?
Well, it's interesting. While the triggers are different, social media validation versus enforcing religious conformity, maybe there's a shared vulnerability.
How so?
In Rookie, it's like social media became the only thing that mattered. Likes and views completely overshadowing empathy or, basic human decency. It's about external validation, right?
Right. Performing for an online audience.
And in Kanpur, while it's ideology, it's still about conforming to an external demand, an external group identity. The refusal to conform is met with violence. Both cases show, perhaps, a worrying disconnect from internal values like empathy, respect, and an over-reliance on external pressures or metrics.
Whether those metrics are likes or perceived religious purity.
Exactly. A heightened susceptibility to external influence, maybe. Whether it's peers, online trends, or divisive rhetoric they're hearing somewhere.
It really makes you think about the role of, well, everyone. Parents, schools, community figures. Are we equipping kids to navigate these pressures?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Right.
We need to be aware. Spotting red flags. Is a kid obsessed with online status? Are they parroting hateful things they've heard? It implies a need for better guidance.
And education, surely. Not just academics, but empathy, conflict resolution, understanding consequences.
Absolutely critical. Schools play a huge role there. And, that 2023 NCRB report mentioned rising juvenile delinquency linked to peer influence and lack of supervision. It all seems connected.
It does paint a worrying picture. So thinking about consequences, what happens now legally for these kids? They're minors, so it's handled differently, right?
Correct. The Juvenile Justice Board, the JJB, will handle these cases. The focus there is meant to be on rehabilitation, not just punishment.
Okay, so for the Rookie group, with charges like kidnapping and assault.
Yeah, serious charges under the IPC. Kidnapping, assault, intimidation, mischief. The JJB will assess each minor involved. Outcomes could range from time in a juvenile facility, maybe mandatory counseling, community service. It depends.
Does the fact it seemed planned, the filming and everything, make a difference?
It could, yes. The premeditated nature might influence the JGB's assessment of the risk and the required intervention.
And for the Kanpur stabbing?
Similar process. Charges under IPC for causing hurt with a dangerous weapon. Intimidation. It goes to the JJB. The communal angle makes it sensitive, of course. The police are likely being very careful.
Trying not to escalate tensions further.
Precisely. The JJB will have to weigh the act itself against the background and potential influences.
This brings up that bigger debate about the Juvenile Justice Act itself. Are the current laws sufficient for really serious crimes committed by minors? It's tough.
It's incredibly complex. There's public pressure for accountability, especially for heinous acts. But the core idea of juvenile justice is that young people can change. Balancing accountability with rehabilitation, it's a constant societal negotiation.
Finding that balance is key, but incredibly difficult.
It really is. There are strong arguments on all sides.
So, looking back at both these incidents, Rookie and Kanpur, geographically separate, different immediate triggers. But together, they offer a pretty stark look at the challenges young people face today, don't they?
They really do. A sobering snapshot. It forces us to think about the environment we're creating for them, online and offline.
Yeah, it really prompts reflection. What is our role collectively in all this? How do we foster a world where, empathy and respect count for more than likes or divisive slogans?
That's the fundamental question, isn't it? How do we prioritize positive values over fleeting online fame or these destructive ideologies? It's not simple.
Not simple at all, but understanding these specific situations, getting into the nuances like we've tried to do, it feels like a crucial first step towards maybe finding some answers, towards building something better.
I agree. Acknowledging the complexity is essential if we want to move forward constructively.
Thanks for walking through this difficult territory with us. Really important insights.